Are you looking forward to come to the United States come 2025, either for your master's program or your PhD program, as the case may be? Well, I'm excited because this video is for you. I'll be giving you 10 steps to take that will help you go through the admission cycle and, most importantly, scale through very well. And as we all know, the admission cycle for the 2025 has been open for most schools. Most schools opened their portals September 1st, 2024, while the remaining schools should be opening theirs later on in the month of September or 1st of October, as the case may be. So if this is your case and you want to come to the United States next year, 2025, well, this video is for you. So sit back, relax, as I take you through all the steps that will help you land into the school of your choice. All right, let's dive into it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's your girl Barbados. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you guys so much for always sticking with me, and to my new subscribers, thank you guys. And if this is the first time watching me, please go through my videos and you see anyone that is helpful for you. So diving into today's topic, I'll be talking about 10 steps that can help you get into the next admission cycle that has opened for most schools and will be opening for the remaining school. Well, I have them all written up. Obviously, I didn't cram them all off my head. I had to write them detailed. That is how intentional I am because of you guys. All right. So, well, the first thing I would say is actually knowing what you want to study. This is actually a very crucial step. And obviously, sometimes it can be very confusing, it can be very tiring, and all of that. But trust me, it is very essential because that would actually determine the trajectory or how you search for schools, the kind of schools you apply to, the program of your choice. So the first thing you ask yourself is, what do I want to study? What are my research interests? For example, I studied history and international studies in my undergraduate, and I'm currently doing my master's in women and gender studies. Hold up. I know you're like, how does it correlate? Well, your undergraduate study is only a stepping stone for you for what you can do in your master's or your PhD program, as the case may be. Well, I know a lot of people continue in the course that they've studied undergrad, but some people like myself kind of look for other things that interest them, which is around their undergraduate studies. Some people even go outside of what they've studied. Well, so that should actually not limit you. That is why I said you have to look within yourself and say, what do I want to study? Do I want to study chemistry? Do I want to study biomedical? Do I want to study history? Do I want to study English, as the case may be, even theater, even journalism, even communication studies? Then begin to ask yourself, what are like my research interests? What are the things that actually interest me in this program? For example, one of the things that actually puts me in the trajectory of studying women and gender studies, first of it is my undergraduate project. I actually touched on women in politics in Nigeria, and I took it a step further by volunteering for non-governmental organizations while in Nigeria. Even during my NYC, I was in the CDS named Gender Vanguard that has to do with gender justice issues and all of that. So at that point, I knew I was very interested in women and gender studies, and that actually set the trajectory for me doing my master's in women and gender studies. That is the first step, and trust me guys, this is very essential because it's going to lead onto the other points I have for you today. The second thing I would say is, which can be kind of challenging, is searching for school. So this is the second thing you need to do when it comes to the admission cycle. So how do you search for school? So if you found out the program you want to do, the second step is to begin to search for school. If I'm not exaggerating, there are over 4,000 schools in the United States. Yes, I said it, over 4,000 schools. I may not get the figures right, but I know there are over 4,000 schools in the US. And that is why you need to identify the program you want to do. Then you begin to search for it. Well, there are various search engines that you can use, one of which, as you all know, is Google. So for example, you want to do a master's program in sociology, you can type a master's in sociology in the United States. It's definitely going to give you like a couple of schools, and you begin to go through them. So searching for schools is very important because that will determine a lot of things, whether you get in or not. So you begin to search for schools depending on your program and all of that. Then because this is very essential and you want to have a broad list of schools, and as we go on you'll see how we now begin to bring the schools into a more realistic number, because obviously you cannot apply to 1,000 schools. No matter the time you have, you cannot apply to 1,000 schools. Even though we have over 4,000 schools in the United States, you definitely cannot. So I'm searching for schools. Another link I would say was very essential when I was searching for my own school was US News. Yes, US News is actually a very good search engine to actually search for schools in the United States. My third step is now specifically going into the department and searching for the admission requirements. Every school has their admission requirements, and more specifically, every department, that is your program, for example, sociology, has their admission requirements. So the third step is now going a step further into checking all of the admission requirement. And trust me, every school, every department is different, and some of these admission requirements include your statement of purpose, personal statement, GRE, TOEFL, GMAT, writing sample, what else, recommendation letter. So you definitely have to take out time to begin to search critically. Like, you need to painstakingly go through all the schools and check out for the admission requirement. And why this is actually very important is because you now begin to look at the admission requirement and be like, what do I have? What don't I have? And the ones I don't have, how can I make up for them? Well, this is actually very interesting, and this is really one place I know a lot of people have issues with, because it requires a lot of work, and not just work, it requires your time. Like, you know what it means going through 1,000 schools, searching for the one that has your program, and going through the different requirements. And not all schools, I know, yes, there can be similarities in the admission requirement, but trust me, every school have what they need. Every department have specific things that they need. Yes, we have ones that are general, like statement of purpose, writing sample, recommendation letter, but things like GRE, TOEFL, IELTS, GMAT, as the case may be, can now be specific to a department at this point. So this is actually very essential, because you need to do the work. I know a lot of people that reach out to me like, oh, Barbados, give me name of schools that I can apply. And I'm like, I can't do that work for you. I can only guide you. I can only tell you that, oh, this school is better, or no, this is a better fit for you. Oh, I can advise you. But you have to do the work yourself. Nobody's going to do that part for you. And trust me, it's time consuming, and that is why I always advise people to start on time. Most admission cycle actually opens in like September. So if you're looking forward to applying to a school the next year, I always advise that from January, February, March of the admission cycle, before it opens, you should begin to like plan yourself towards that. So this will actually give you a broad view of what to look out for. So like I said, looking at the documents you have and the ones you don't have, and trying to know, okay, the ones I don't have, how can I work towards it? For example, writing sample, how can I work towards it? Well, I'm going to say for my writing sample, I use my undergraduate project, a section of it though, not everything, because most writing samples actually have page limit 20, 25, 30 at most for most schools. So for example, GRE, some schools require GRE, some schools do not require GRE. So these are the reasons why you need to actually check the admission requirements. The fourth step is actually the faculty. Now you see why the first step is actually important, which is what looking at trying to know what your research interest is. So the fourth step I always advise people to do, which is actually very essential, is going through the faculty. So faculty is what it's being called here, but in a more general sense, it's actually looking at the professors in the department, what work are they doing, what is their research interest. I always advise people to actually do the same, because no matter how good your profile is, if you do not find a faculty whose research interests aligns with you. And when I mean aligned, doesn't mean that it has to be directly aligned. It can be directly aligned, but if it does not overlap. So for example, I'm doing something, my research interest is on immigrant women, Nigerian immigrant women in the United States. I don't have a faculty working specifically on Nigerian immigrant women in the United States in my faculty. However, I have someone working on immigration studies. I have somebody working on things that have to do with women generally and childcare. And that is why you need to search for faculties whose research interest aligns with that, because that's actually a determining factor if you should apply to a school and if you will get into a school, as the case may be. So searching for faculties whose research interest aligns with yours is very essential, because this will actually give you an idea of if you're actually a good fit for the school or not. We're going to come into things about being a good fit for a program, because this is actually very essential, because I've seen a lot of people, they have good profiles, they have good research skills, they have all the documents, but there is no one to actually supervise them when they come into the school. And trust me, that can actually be a very painful thing, because that is a wasted effort, a wasted admission process, admission fee, as the case may be. So I always advise people to actually search for faculties and pinpoint at least 2 to 3 persons that you feel that their research interests can align with yours or even overlap, as the case may be. It can also be in their research method. For example, I do qualitative research method, and maybe if I see someone that does that is very sound in qualitative research method, I can know that I want to work with this person. They might not align with my research idea, but they align with my research method, as the case may be. So that is actually very important, looking for faculties, because that will also help you streamline schools that you can apply to and schools you cannot apply to. So yes, faculty fit, faculty research interest is very essential. I will say that your best bet when it comes to information in the graduate school program most of the time is the graduate program coordinator. And I always advise people that when you search for your program, you search for school, you search for faculty, you set the requirement, and you feel like, oh, this is a good fit for me, as the case may be. Well, and this is more important, for people that are trying to change field. Maybe you're trying to do something different, a little bit different from what you did in undergrad. I always advise reaching out to the program coordinator, because they are your best bet when it comes to getting some information about the admission requirements, cycle, and all of that. And the reason why I actually say this is because, for example, when I was switching from history to women and gender studies, I had to reach out, cold email, we call it cold email, where you tell them, oh, your interest in the program, and if you're a good fit, always advisable to attach your CV, academic CV, and your transcript, for them to know that if you're a good fit, obviously with your research interest. And I think this actually helped me to sieve out some schools that I later did not apply to, as much as they were good schools, but because there were certain things that they wanted from me that I did not have, and obviously the time frame which I had at that time was not going to make it possible for me to meet up with. And that is the power of information, and that is the power of always reaching out to program coordinators, because they help give you some information that you might not see or not just see. You might see them on the departmental website, for example, GRE, and if the department says, oh, GRE is required, I know some schools might not always update their admission requirements sometimes, but reaching out to the program coordinator can be like, oh, can GRE be waived for me, and things like that. And they'll be the best bet to actually tell you whether it can be waived for you, if your qualification, or if your research interest, or if you actually qualify to actually apply for the school. Also, another reason why I always advise people to reach out to the program coordinator, as the case may be, is to ask more clarified questions when it comes to funding, scholarship. Well, you might see that, oh, people admitted will get funding, but I think it's always good to ask clearly what these funding packages are. Are they teaching assistant? Are they research assistant? Is it fellowship and all of that? And also in regards to that is asking questions like, do you guys even accept international students? Well, I know a lot of schools accept, but I think the variation and acceptance rate for international students varies depending on school and department. So you want to ask questions like, you guys, accept international student? What is the ratio? What is the number of acceptance of international students? Even what is the ratio of students that you guys admit every cycle? You cannot see a school that only accept 3 people, and that is where you want to go. Well, except you're really convinced that you're going to get it, maybe because you tick all the whole qualifications and requirements. So that is why you need to ask this question. And trust me, after this question does not hurt. That is why they are here to actually answer your question. But that doesn't mean you have to ask them irrelevant question. Ask them questions that gives them the impression that you're really excited and you want to apply, but you're trying to make all the get all the information and inquiry that you need to be sure that this is a good fit for you. So why not? Next step is actually preparing your document, and this can be very taxing because preparing these documents can be very stressful. And I don't know which of I would say the most stressful part for me at the point when I was applying was my statement of purpose, because it went through several drafts, several feedback, several criticizing. I felt I wasn't good enough to even do this whole thing. So this is the point. So when you search for faculties, you've seen people that their research aligns with yours. You've contacted the program coordinator and they're like, oh yes, you're a good fit for this program, you can apply and blah blah blah. The next time you need to begin to work on your document. So those things you don't have, how can you get them? For example, your transcript. If you're from Nigeria and and your school is very slow with transcript, it's always very advisable to start on time and begin to see how you can get your transcript, most importantly the official transcript, as the case may be. And for some schools who ask you to do West evaluation, you also need time to do that. So, and getting your transcript being sent to the West evaluation organization to actually transcribe your transcript. So statement of purpose is very essential because this is like the main hook of your application requirements. So statement of purpose, some schools actually require statement of purpose and personal statement. Well, they're almost the same thing, but there are some difference. So if the school actually just requires you to do your statement of purpose, just submit only that. But some schools require you to actually submit both statement of purpose and personal statements. Well, they are very similar. They are just some things that you can put here and all of that. So I would say your statement of purpose should be reviewed by people that are have gone ahead of you, people you trust, people that can give you good feedback without mincing words. Sometimes they have to be harsh to you for you to be able to get the best draft of your statement of purpose. Another requirement that you need to do, documents you need to put together. I've talked about transcript, I've talked about SOP and personal statements. Is your writing sample. Like I said earlier, I use my undergraduate a part of my undergraduate project. Most I think it was my literature review part that I actually used for my research and all of that. So yeah, then I think another thing you need to do at this point, which is also very essential when it comes to your application project, is your reference letter. We also call it recommendation letter. Well, if you are still in school, I always advise you to actually begin to build a very good relationship with your professors in school, because you will definitely be needing their help. And if you've graduated and you're now thinking of doing graduate program and all of that, I know it can be very tough reaching back to people that have taught you, especially if you're not in good standing with them. But well, you can always give it a try, because I know a few friends that have tried and they got very good feedback from faculties and professors that had taught them, even though they didn't have so much good relationship with them. You really need people to write a recommendation letter for you. I think this is, apart from your SOP and writing sample, this is a very essential, and I mean essential, part of the documents you're going to be submitting, because they speak of your how you can succeed in graduate school, your undergrad achievement, what you did, your research skills and all of that. They speak to you. It's more or less like someone putting a stake on you and say this person is the best candidate for your program, because they have the skills, they have this, they have proven to do this and that. So reaching out to your, people that have taught you in undergrad, if you've not been very good, please go and apologize. Well, the people that wrote my recommendation letter for me, I had a very good relationship. Well, I had, and I still have a good relationship with them. I still talk to them, I still reach out to them, and I've seen a couple of them even while in the US now and all of that. So you can never know. So please, if you're still in school, take this advice very seriously. Then still in your documents, if you need to write GRE as the case may be, please begin to prepare to write GRE. If you need to write IELTS or TOEFL as the case may be, English proficiency as they always call it, please write them as the case may be, and all of that. And the other point I would say is begin to reach out to the department to see if they can waive some of these things, especially the GRE and the IELTS or TOEFL. Well, for me, I didn't write GRE when I was coming because it was not really a requirement for me. Why the IELTS and the English proficiency was a requirement for some of the schools, but I had to prove to them that, I'm from an English-speaking country. But well, I still wrote the IELTS and I aced it. I had it 8.0. Yeah, I'm that good. I had 8.0. By the end of the day, I really didn't use it. But I know some people that did not even write, and they had to like request for a waiver. And also always trying to attend like open house information section that will be organized by school is actually very good way to actually get waivers, especially when it comes to application fee waivers. Most application fee waivers range from like $65 to $70, $75, 80, even 100 as the case may be, or over 100. And I know that can actually be very expensive, especially with the conversion rate between US dollar and most countries currency. So if you actually need fee waivers, please ask for it. There's no harm in asking for it. One person to actually reach out to when you're looking for fee waiver is actually the program coordinator. And if they don't have an answer, you can actually now mail the graduate school for fee waivers, and most of the time they will either say yes or no, or even if they say yes, they always tell you, okay, fill this form, financial assistance form, tell us why you need a fee waiver. Well, I got a couple of fee waivers during my time. I applied to 7 US schools, and I think I paid application fee for only 3 or 4. I can't remember really, but I know I got up to like 3 fee waivers for some schools I applied to. Well, it's not like as if they even gave me admission at the end of the day. Well, but that aside, that actually, helps you cut some cost and all of that. All right, let's get it. We're almost at the end. Well, another thing I would say is make sure you meet up with deadlines. These schools are very strict when it comes to deadline. I know most deadlines for some schools, especially for PhD programs, are always around December 1st, December 15th, January 1st, January 3rd, January 15th, February 1st to like, I think the latest most schools have their deadline is March 1st. If I can remember, because I knew there was a deadline for one of the schools I applied to last year, was March 1st. Yes, I remember. So please make sure you are very, especially with the time zone and all of that. And I always advise people to apply few days or few weeks to the deadline in case of network issues, in case there's a document you forgot to put in and all of that. So please, always make sure you adhere to deadline. There's nothing like, sorry, I forgot to put one document. Nobody send you. If the deadline is December 1st, 11:59 p.m. US time, please, even 1 second after that will not be accepted. Trust me, these guys are very strict with deadlines. Last step I would say is create a timetable, and I always advise people to create like an Excel sheet when it comes to this whole application period. Because the reason why is it gives you something to a very tangible thing to always fall back to. So writing the name of the schools, the requirements, the requirements you have and the ones you don't have, when you plan to get them, then the deadlines, the faculty, your research interest, and all of that. Having that in an Excel sheet actually gives you um, makes you organized. I think that's the better word, because you can always go back to it and be like, oh, what do I need to do? Oh, okay, I've done my SOP. Oh, I have not finished my writing stuff. Oh, I need to remind my professors for recommendation and all of that. That is very essential. I always tell people to actually create a timeline when you want to finish. Like, for example, one of the deadline is December 1st. I'll be like, oh, by November 15th, I want to submit all my documents and make sure that everything is checked and all submitted. And I think that actually help you be organized, be less stressed, less stressed in this whole application cycle. Trust me, guys, it can be very overwhelming. Like, overwhelming is even an exaggeration. It can be very taxing, it can be very draining. But I think following all these steps will actually help you get through it. Please don't forget your deadline. I beg you. Like, there's no 1 second. 1 second late is not accepted. Yeah. So I think that's all. Then one last tip I want to say, and I want to put out there. This is like a bonus tip. When you're looking out for a school, if you can reach out to students in the department that you want to apply to, that is an extra bonus, because they would tell you some things that you might not see on the website, you might not hear from the graduate program coordinator. I think current students, especially, current students generally in the department you're looking out to apply, things like, oh, what is the environment like? What's the department like? How are things done? How is your supervisor? This, I'm trying to work with the supervisor. What do you think about them? Blah 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 blah. That is just an extra tip. If you can reach out to, well, I really didn't do that initially when I was applying for my master's program and all, but I have seen the essence of of doing that ahead of time. If you can, it's not a criteria, nothing, and all of that. And so please always reach out to program coordinators, to students if you can. And I hope that these steps actually help. I can't wait to see you guys in the United States getting your fully funded PhD master's program, as the case may be. I'll actually be creating another video where I'll be talking about statement of purpose, how to cold email professors whose research interest aligns with yours, even how to ask for fee waivers and things like that. So if you have any questions concerning your admission, please let me know if you're going to be applying for this current admission cycle and what admission cycle we're looking at, 2026 to 2027. Please let me know in the comment section. If you have questions, please let me know. Don't forget to always reach out. And if you have videos you want me to do, specific videos that I feel that will be essential for you and this community we're trying to build, please don't forget to put in the comment section. All right, guys, thank you guys for sticking with me. Hope this video was helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to subscribe. That is very essential. That would help YouTube know that this video is valuable, and also push it out to other people like yourself that wants to come to the United States. Until my next video, I love you guys so much. I always have you guys at heart. All right, have an amazing day. See you guys in my next video. Bye.